Today we're going to talk about lesson 12.2 on complementary and supplementary angles. So complementary angles are two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. So two angles whose sum, when they're added together, is a total of 90 degrees. Supplementary angles are two angles whose sum are 180 degrees. So if you're struggling to remember this, or if you need a way to help remember this, I always like to think alphabetical order. Complementary comes before supplementary, and 90 comes before 180. So again, two angles whose sum, when we add them together, is 90 degrees are complementary. And two angles whose sum is 180 degrees, those are supplementary. So here, if we look on these guided notes, on the first few, it says, tell whether the angles are complementary, supplementary, or neither. So the way we might want to go about doing this is by adding them together. So if we add these two angles together, we will end up with 90 degrees. We know that two angles that add up to 90 are complementary. So these are complementary angles. On the next set, again, we can add these together. We can also see that these make a straight line when added together, and we know that straight lines are 180 degrees. And when two angles add up to 180 degrees, they are said to be supplementary. Again, we can see just 1 second here. Okay, it looks like we've got that taken care of here. So again, we can remember that 90-degree angles are complementary when they add up to 90, and 180, when two angles add up to 180, they are supplementary. So here on this last pair of angles, we have 70 and 19. When we add these together, we're going to get 89. That doesn't equal 90, and it doesn't equal 180. So this pair of angles are neither supplementary or complementary. Now in the next couple, it says tell whether the angles are complementary or supplementary. Then find the value of x. We know that a straight angle or a straight line is 180 degrees. So these angles are supplementary. Now, in order to find x, we need to set up an equation. Since we know that supplementary angles are 180 degrees, we can write this on the left-hand side. So 4x plus 5 plus the second angle of 41 is equal to 180. We can simplify and solve from here. Use those inverse operations to simplify. Make sure that you're showing all of your work. 180 take away 46 is 134. And we have here 32 and a half or 32.5. So the value of x is 32 and a half degrees. We know that these two angles form a right angle or 90 degrees. We know that two angles whose sum is 90 degrees are complementary. So we can set our equation up equal to 90. So x plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 90 degrees. X plus 2x is 3x. And again, we're using those inverse operations to solve the equation. Remember, when there's no operation sign, that we are multiplying. So here we find out that x is equal to 31 degrees. Now on the last one for today, it says draw a pair of angles who are adjacent and supplementary, where one angle is 15 degrees. Now we know that supplementary angles have to equal 180. So they are going to form that straight line. We can use our knowledge of angles again to know that this might be a 90, form two 90s. If we split that into half, we could see we would get a 45. We might also be able to see that 15 is a third of 45. So we could split this into thirds. So here, if we follow this 1/3 out, we could say that this portion of the angle is our 15 degrees, and this section is the rest, which if we subtracted our 180 and 15, we would end up with 165. So we would know that the other angle is worth 165. So again, just using that knowledge of our angles to help us give a reasonable drawing for what we're looking for.